In this pod-slice summary of the Diary of a CEO podcast, Stephen Bartlett and Sadhguru both delve into deep societal issues, particularly concerning mental health. The conversation starts with Sadhguru referencing the World Health Organization's prediction of a mental health pandemic, stating that this doesn't necessarily need to occur if individuals learn how to handle their own mental states better. Dissecting our society's woes, Sadhguru explains that while today's generation has access to comforts and technologies like never before, they are still very discontent. He believes the suffering of humanity isn't due to poverty or taxing or any physical situation, but because people want more than they have, constantly seeking out something bigger. Comparing this to a person's reaction to trauma, Sadhguru declares that individuals can choose to become wise or remain wounded. He reinforces the notion that one's existence is largely swayed by personal choices, advocating that if your joy hinges on external factors, the probability of experiencing happiness remains minimal. Sadhguru offers insights on finding the path to happiness, suggesting a simple 21-minute practice that can enable humans to experience something absolutely fantastic. Interestingly, he asserts that this practice has been proven to trigger the release of endocannabinoids, which induce bliss and happiness at Harvard Medical School. Expanding on his personal experiences that led him to his current beliefs, Sadhguru shares how he spent an afternoon 40 years ago on a hill where he experienced a profound shift in consciousness. His body felt drenched in ecstasy and time distorted. The blissful experience led him to explore further, realizing distancing oneself from their physiological and psychological activities results in pure joy. He subsequently aimed to share this realization with the world, launching a campaign to make the world blissful, with the belief that the misery people experience is often self-inflicted and rooted in their beliefs, ideologies, or compulsive behavior. Through this mission, he reported reaching approximately 2 billion people. Delving into the discussion topic of business people, who, according to Sadhguru, are often the most stressed, Stephen recognizes himself as one. Sadhguru explains that the instinct for survival is often mixed up with a human being's longing to expand. Business people embody this as they try to enhance their survival by increasing their businesses. But, according to Sadhguru, this is ultimately futile, as there is no reasonable limit to this expansion. This desire for limitless expansion is, according to Sadhguru, an intrinsic human trait connected to our evolution and the development of our cerebral cortex. Acknowledging Stephen's predicament, Sadhguru advises against seeking a balance between a want for expansion and peace, but rather focusing on boundless expansion through consciousness. He sheds light upon the need for expansion to occur in a non-physical nature, suggesting that it is only then that one can truly own the universe. In conclusion, Sadhguru emphasizes that the predicament most individuals face often stems from their inability to distinguish between themselves and what they have or possess. Using a chair analogy, Sadhguru explains that thinking you are something you are not, such as a chair you've sat on for a while, is fundamentally erroneous and the root of many troublesome thoughts. During the poignant dialogue, the idea of perception is significantly fleshed out by Sadhguru. Notably, he asserts that seeing life as it is, and not through the distorted lens of your emotions or biases, is the key to a fulfilling existence. To depict this, he illustrates how if you are not clearly perceiving your surroundings, navigation becomes difficult and is bound to result in unfavorable outcomes, a metaphor that can be applied to every aspect of life. As they pondered the existential question of whether or not heaven exists, Sadhguru challenged the comforting notion of a blissful afterlife, expressing that such belief systems lack evidence and are often employed as a means of escaping the harsh realities of life. He vehemently reinforces the belief that the earth, in its current state, is a wonderful place to exist and urges viewers to value their existing reality. In addressing Stephen's statement on overthinking, Sadhguru has a different viewpoint. He doesn't see it as overthinking, but more as mental diarrhea, a result of unfocused and unmanaged thought processes. This unorganized thinking style, Sadhguru clarifies, is not due to an overabundance of thoughts, but a lack of control over the thoughts one has. He examines the idea of compulsiveness and how it can be remedied, not through suppression, but by becoming more conscious or aware, allowing you to freely navigate through thoughts, emotions, and actions. Following the discussion around constant stress and worry about the future, a relatable scenario for Steve, Sadhguru channels the conversation towards an understanding of present reality. He asserts that obsessing about the past or future results in suffering from things that aren't currently existing. Such a form of suffering, he suggests, is akin to madness, as it torments mental health, paving the path towards potential mental health crises. In tackling life's biggest fears like losing a job or a loved one, Sadhguru empathetically distinguishes between the gravity of both situations. With a level-headed approach, he postulates that coping with such difficult situations is more manageable with one's sanity intact. Therefore, he suggests that while it's daunting, dealing with adversities with composure and clarity is the best approach. Towards the end of the session, Stephen brings up Sadhguru's life experiences. Sadhguru reveals that having a massive family meant dealing with frequent loss and grief. However, instead of letting it break him, he learned to cope, underscoring that life, encompassing both joy and sorrow, must be embraced in its fullness. In an intriguing progression, Stephen and Sadhguru dive into the dense terrain of emotions, perception, and human endurance. Sadhguru explains that nothing beyond the boundaries of our control should lead us into madness. His words act as a reminder that life as we know it is transient, underlining the undeniable reality of mortality. Elaborating on this, he asserts that life is a blend of time and energy, urging us to channel this synergy productively rather than squandering it in distress. Sadhguru then delves into the complexity of our emotions, referring to how we often limit our affection and reserve it for those closest to us, an emotionally constraining existence. He contends that embracing pain and sorrow is an integral part of life, equating the experience to walking in a forest. The thorns may prick, but they don't nullify your enjoyment of the forest. When questioned about his experiences with sadness, Sadhguru presents an eye-opening perspective. He shares that his emotional reactions do not happen unconsciously. He consciously induces emotions like love, joy, and even sadness, highlighting our distinctive capability as humans to regulate our internal experiences. Consequently, a significant segment of their discussion centers around life's purpose. Sadhguru raises thought-provoking points against the prevailing notion that life needs a definitive purpose. Too much commitment to a single cause, according to Sadhguru, may lead to fanaticism, and choosing happiness and joy as your life's purpose is transcendent. Sadhguru goes on to contend that it is vital for one to master their internal experiences. The physical actions you take, conscious or unconscious, could impact your mental state. Allowing your joyful state to be influenced by external factors is analogous to having a car that needs a push start every time rather than one that's self-starting. He suggests the practice of inner engineering as a means to decipher life's user manual. It involves detailed exploration and understanding of one's own mind and habits, thus enabling better command over your life, emotions, and decisions. As the conversation pivots toward inner peace, Sadhguru postulates that happiness and peace should be self-sustaining, not influenced by external facets. He shares that our internal experiences emanate from within us, regardless of external stimuli. He advises individuals interested in becoming more independent emotionally to invest dedicated focus time into understanding their thoughts and responses, implementing practices to ensure their emotions are consciously regulated. Towards the end, Sadhguru emphasizes on the significance of individual enhancement and inner well-being, noting that the prioritization of these aspects has led to tremendous achievements in civilizations in the past. He brings attention to the surge in stress levels among CEOs and individuals in powerful positions, emphasizing the importance of personal enhancement over enhancing one's activities. He finishes off by stating the importance of personal wellness as a foundation for positive external impact. In this discourse, Sadhguru emphasizes the significance of multiple intelligences over single-minded intellectual intelligence. He explains that mankind possesses not just intellectual, but also various other dimensions of intelligence. However, over-reliance on a European approach of education on intellect and thought tends to obscure these additional dimensions. Sadhguru advocates for the utilization of more comprehensive intelligence systems, thereby shunning the narrow, cognitive-centric approach. The analogy of a sharp knife is drawn in conjunction with the intellect. As a knife, despite being a potentially dangerous tool, becomes beneficial when wielded mindfully, so does our intellect. In other words, humans must have the consciousness to efficiently handle the intellect just as a steady hand is needed to operate a sharp knife effectively. Sadhguru's perspective on artificial intelligence, AI, is fascinating, suggesting that AI, developed by human intelligence, can't validate itself as more intelligent than human beings. When asked about the potential peril AI can bring with it, Sadhguru presents the argument that the misuse of this advanced technology stems from humans not having evolved out of their basic instincts like survivability, aggression, and competition. The conversation further spirals into the extent of human intellect and power structures in society. Sadhguru contends the anxiety of losing jobs to AI echoes the fear experienced by laborers in the past when machines were first introduced, postulating that excessive reliance on intellectual prowess or physically demanding jobs can precipitate a fearful reaction to machines or AI. Hence, it's crucial to adapt and evolve along with the technological advancement, further allowing people to pursue more fulfilling and creative aspects of life, leaving the heavy lifting and repetitive tasks to machines. Subsequently, the talk shifts to the psychological impacts of childhood trauma and the repercussions it bears on adult behavior. Here, Sadhguru rebuts the common belief of traumatic experiences molding adult behavior. He suggests that individuals always have the choice to either become wounded or wiser from painful experiences, and that blaming past trauma for present behavior is an excuse to avoid responsibility for one's actions. Throughout the discussion, Sadhguru remains consistent with his overarching message. The key to individual enhancement, emotional regulation, and overall well-being lies in consciously harnessing the elaborate spectrum of human intelligence rather than remaining within the confines of intellectual prowess alone. Sadhguru continues the conversation with Stephen Bartlett, taking it deeper into the realm of human life and its existential outcomes. Sadhguru introduces us to an intelligent way of perceiving life's occurrences, pointing out that everything happening within us, be it our body, mind, emotions, or energy, is entirely under our control. Issue lies in the external surroundings that demand the cooperation and contribution of collective human effort. Addressing the question of life's meaning, Sadhguru provokes thought around our need for a meaning. He reasons that this requirement emanates from the human mind, an ailment it inflicts upon itself. He discourages seeking external validation or purpose while insisting on delving into the profoundness of life. He also criticizes the constant comparative analysis we tend to operate under, pointing out such comparisons are only feasible with others around. If left alone, one wouldn't know if they were good or bad. But the state of joy stands in solitary recognition. This, Sadhguru points out, is the essence of existence, the magic that lies beyond the logic of life. This implies that by immersing oneself in the joyfulness of existence and by keeping oneself pleasant, one is more likely to emanate pleasantness. Another line of discussion investigates the concept of purpose, central to modern generational dialogues. Sadhguru discourages the idea of creating a superficial purpose to instill meaning into one's life. He instead challenges us to seek profound experiences, compelling us to dig deeper into ourselves. Crucially, Sadhguru brings to attention the fallacies tied to religious doctrines and the propagation of dogma that places humans at the center of the universe. He passionately declares that humans are not the center of the universe, deconstructing notions that proliferate human self-importance and challenge the humility needed to coexist meaningfully. By doing so, Sadhguru ultimately questions and encourages us to question the normalized perceptions we hold of life's purpose and success. In a vibrant exchange between two intellectually centered figures, Sadhguru humorously recounts a tale as he engages with Stephen Bartlett. The narrative revolves around a bishop from the Greek Orthodox Church who, after much struggle to reach a cave in southern India to meet a yogi, came forward with a poignant question on what is life. Sadhguru emphasizes how an individual's perception of life morphs according to the situations they encounter. The bishop and the yogi's contrasting individual experiences are painted as metaphors, where the bishop's tough life is compared to a thorn, and the yogi's blissful existence is equated to the fragrance of jasmine on a pleasant breeze. This story provides a glimpse into Sadhguru's philosophy, where he underscores the idea that life is subjective and mutable, and the individual has control over turning their life's narration into a pleasant or harsh experience. The conversation then pivots towards a profoundly critical issue currently occupying humanity, namely the environmental crisis. Sadhguru has spearheaded a campaign named Save Soil, and he passionately explains why this initiative is gaining importance. He states that soil is the source of life, rather than just an inanimate resource. Sadhguru underlines the burgeoning crisis of microbial extinction, stating that the microbial life in the soil forms the foundation of existence. He frames humans and their existence as merely a cherry on the cake of life. These microbial organisms effectively nourish the soil and hence aid in providing sustenance to humans. According to Sadhguru, the loss of microbial life is so accelerated that there's a real concern of humans struggling to find basic nourishment in the future. Extinction rates are alarming, with 27,000 species going extinct per year and the subsequent degradation of soil leading to nutritional demise, causing both physical and mental ailments in humans. Sadhguru's passionate discourse on soil degradation paints a stark picture of future scarcity and serves as an urgent call to action for humanity to reconsider how we treat our environment and resources. As his conversation with Stephen Bartlett continues, it is clear that Sadhguru views these issues of mental health, environmental degradation, and one's perception of life as interrelated, each one influencing and being influenced by the others. The last question posed by Bartlett, a continuation of the podcast's tradition where the previous session's guest leaves a question for the next, was about what truly matters to Sadhguru from the depths of his heart. Sadhguru answers that he tried to live not by values, morality, or commandments, but by his humanity, revealing a profound piece of wisdom and how he navigates his life and teaches others about existence and purpose. Check out the full podcast by clicking the link in the description below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for listening to this podcast summary episode of The Pod Slice.